Step 3 in the engineering process is design. The last video focused on thumbnail sketches. In this video, I'll focus more on the detailed design.
Really? Where does that go?
When I decided to do my detail drawing, I made sure to hook in my T-bar as close to the top as possible. I knew I was going to leave about 4 inches of side right here and 6 inches here. So I wanted plenty of room, so I positioned my T-bar closer to the left. I'm going to start my drawing on the bottom and look at an angle from a corner. Using triangle graph paper seems a little weird at first, but when you go to turn your paper, those diagonal lines come in really handy. I simply lined up the corner and then made sure that my lines ran along my bar. Now all I have to do is draw in my 6-inch line. Next, I want to do a parallel line, this time the top of the box. So I'm going to keep my paper turned, and I'm going to line up my corner here, and again, make sure my graphing lines are lined up with my ruler. And then I can go ahead and put in my 6-inch line for the top of the box. Once my line for the top of the box is complete, I'm going to turn my paper and go ahead and line up my sides. If I've done this right, I should have a straight line from here down to my bottom line, and it should be 4 inches. The key to drawing three-dimensional is to keep your lines parallel. The side is parallel with the side, the top is parallel to the bottom. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my side of the box, so I'll angle this line on top, and then I'll go ahead and keep that line parallel and put in my bottom. Your ruler, again, just use the lines, the diagonal lines on your paper to go ahead and put in your line. I don't know that these will necessarily be 4 inches, but that's okay, because my primary design is going to be in the front of the box. I have my front and side of the box. Remember, you have to keep your lines parallel. Here's my top, my bottom, but I also need the top or the back line here, so we're just going to keep those lines parallel, add that line in, and then I'll keep this line parallel and draw that back in. Again, I won't have my whole box, but I will have a good piece to design for my front and one of the sides of my box. I have my box drawn into scale. I'm going to use my thumbnail sketches. When I sketched this piece right here, I brought it to my client, Mr. Brown, and I asked for some feedback on what he thought. He really liked the red lines here. He liked the flowing things. He did ask on the back, he thought it was pretty flat, so he asked that I kind of see if I could change it up a little bit, make it a little bit more creative, add some yellow in. He also didn't like the top of the box as much. He really felt that there should be some additional color in there, but he did like the fact that I wanted to use black tape for trim. So even though I finished my thumbnail sketches, I still need to tweak it a little bit on my detail design to make sure it's something my client likes. So I'm going to keep this with me as I start drawing in my actual detail design. When I'm finished doing that, I'll bring it to my client one more time, make sure that he likes it, and then we're ready to build. After drawing in my design, I made sure to add my dimensions. So here you'll see I have my 4 inches for my width on the side piece. Here's my 6 inches, that's my length, that's my front piece, and then I have my height, which is 4 inches here. I put in the design that I had okayed my clients, so I have the face that he wanted, and then I added in how the flowing colors would look, but I didn't actually add in the colors. I didn't want to add this to my detail design because you might wind up covering up information if you have too many colors, so it's best just to do it in black and white. I showed where my hinge tape would be up above, added the name on top, and then my material list. I really tried to think of everything I'd need. Cardboard, T-bar, measuring tape, even the color. I need markers, so I listed all the different colors I needed. I know I need a hot glue gun, hot glue, and my box cutter. This is going to help me and my team a lot when we go to make our budget proposal. Now, I was worried that my client couldn't see this side of the box. They know that this whole side will be a solid red, so I made just a small diagram down here showing them that this green stripe here in the front of the box, and I labeled it front, would then go in on the side and follow up. So it would be more of a flowing green line, and I put a side to that. Now I was worried that my client wouldn't know what the back of the box would look like, so I did do a second drawing. I put in my box again, and this time I showed them, here's the red side up here, and this is where it is on this picture. And then I showed all my lines again. So here's the red right here will flow into a little bit of red here. Here's that green stripe that's over here on the side will then follow into the back. I have some smaller shapes of color. I'm using a lot of lines, so I wanted to use some round shapes. I'm going to change that up and add red on the outside, orange on the inside. My client had told me they wanted me to be a little bit more creative. I added some yellow lines. I thought that might break it up, and my client had told me they wanted a little bit more color. And then just a small purple line on back. I did add my dimensions again. Here's my 6 inches for the back. Here's my side. I put those dimensions up here, 4 inches. And then there's my height right here. So I put the black tape on what it would look like on the top and the side. And just to help them out, I put that brown name for the top of it and what it would look like from the back of the case. So now that I have my detailed design completed, you need to get that okayed by your teacher, and then you can go ahead and begin building.